No, it's gonna stay in Anissa's Zoom. Um, but record once the event starts.
Oh, I'm recording? Okay, I think
But
it's recording. Okay. Well, welcome, y'all. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate y'all. Um, so today we're going to talk about, the importance of voting and, why it's actually important to either send in your mail-in ballots or go out and vote, especially for this election. So I have a little short presentation. The importance of voting. So why should you vote? Obviously, if you don't vote, other people basically, instead of the majority having a president, it would be a minority having a president. So, like what happened with the last election, Hillary won the majority vote, and the Electoral College came in and said, no, ma'am. And they just, came in and they ended up picking Donald Trump instead, which is not who the majority voted for. So when you don't vote, even though the Electoral College could do that anyway, but you not voting really helps its chances because Hillary and Trump were really close anyway. So regardless, he could have just shot up and be there if a couple more people just didn't end up voting. And a lot of people didn't vote in that election. So yes, I just said both points. So why your vote matters. So your vote may not directly elect their president, but if your vote is with a bunch of other votes, obviously voting it will have a snowball effect kind of, and you could get who you actually want to be elected and not just someone who a bunch of other people decided we're going to show out and we're going to vote, and then a whole other group of people just decide not to vote, and that just makes the situation like what we have now basically. And a lot of states have like a winner take all system, so the electoral college could end up deciding, which it does a lot of the time, end up decides who the president of the United States is. So out for that. Not me moving up. My bad, y'all. So if you want to learn how to register to vote, there are, well, I'll show on the next slide, but you can register by mail. You have to do that quickly though. That's coming up soon. And they're kind of wavering with the deadlines in each, so it depends on where you live. But I know for Pennsylvania, the online deadline is October 19th. By mail, they have to receive it by October 19th, and in person, if you want to register in person, that's also October 19th. And if you want an absentee ballot, you have to request it before, or I think they have to get your request before October 27th, and you have to return it before November 3rd. And I think they are thinking about wavering on that because there are a lot of ballots that might not get there until November 3rd, and that could completely throw off the election. So just be careful with that. Definitely get your absentee ballots in early, because if they don't count your vote, that's like thousands, like tens of thousands of votes not being counted if you decide to send yours in late. So yeah. So these are a bunch of helpful websites that I ended up finding when I was looking for information. One of these websites, I think it's rockthevote.org. They really break it down and they help you register, help you figure out when your dates are to have an absentee ballot or vote by mail. They also show you because I know a lot of people don't, they get to the election box and then they just don't know what they're voting for other than the president. So if you want to see who's on the ballot and research beforehand, you can get not a fake ballot, but a ballot, what the ballot will actually look like. You can search up who these people are. On Rock the Vote, they actually tell you what these people are about and all this other stuff, so you don't have to do extra research. And yeah, and if you want to register to vote, you can go to philadelphiavotes.com or vote.org, and they'll take you through the process if you just want to do it through there. And that's basically my presentation. So I don't know if y'all saw the debate. It was a mess. Trump was saying a lot of nonsense. I just want, y'all have some feedback on that. Like, did anyone watch it or just watch the clips on Twitter like I did?
I actually watched the majority of it until I fell asleep. Like, because went on from it started like 9 and then ended in I don't know how long, what time it ended, but it was interesting and it was like you kind of like you not kind of but you see like is a clear picture of who has the political background and who doesn't. You know what I mean?
Like you could
I
tell
don't
who's
want
a
to.
celebrity and
Yeah, it's just like
who's
crazy,
not.
and you can't help but like listen when Trump talks. Like you can't help but like think about how America allowed someone with no political background, no type of you know what I mean, like into the office, and that's what like really scares me. It's just like you have someone people care more about the celebrity status of someone rather than someone with this actual with the credentials to be in the office. So but I can understand like Joe Biden being frustrated, like that's like arguing with a kindergartner, like
Yeah,
I can
that's
do it better than you. Like
annoying.
that is crazy. Like
Do you have something to say? Not Ronald Reagan. Oh yeah, Ronald Reagan was an actor, but well, I don't know much about his presidency.
that was like a trillion years ago. Like
What is the same concept? He was an
But
actor.
yeah, he was an
Politician.
actor, and that
yeah,
does
I
remind
get
me of
that.
what's his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger was like governor of California at one time. Apparently, he was good. I don't know. They be weird out there, so apparently he was good for them. But I just feel like there is a major difference when it comes to Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. Even though obviously we have not lived through Ronald Reagan's presidency, but
I mean,
not
they're both
myself.
Republicans and they're both ignorant. So
Times
Both of
have
them
definitely
are
changed. So
yeah,
I mean,
times have definitely changed, and also like him being ignorant, like the way Donald Trump is ignorant. I just feel like it's not even remotely close. At least
they
he
don't
like
even compare.
knew somewhat about politics, somewhat about what's going
But
on. The way he used it wasn't right. I think he was the one that let all the mental patients out of the hospital at one point. I don't know if that was real. I kind of saw it in TV show. Don't quote me on that. Don't judge
but
me.
it's important to note that Ronald Reagan ran on the same campaign that Donald Trump is running on and that
Are
he
you
ran
serious?
on. Yes, he's the one who came up with the Make America Great Again. He ran on that
You're lying.
campaign.
Are
He
you
ran on the
serious?
Make America Great Again campaign, and he didn't run on the Law and Order thing, but that's what he was promoting very heavily, but it's very subtly. But he was running on that Law and Order. It's the same. Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan are similar political people.
Wow, I never learned that in school. Like actually, like
Yeah, so like you read political books now and they make that connection between Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump that this is not something new. This is something that the white audience has this
a response to.
white audience always
Yeah,
wanted. They know
yeah,
this. They are familiar with it. That's why they vote for him.
true. That's interesting. Yo, thank you for that because I definitely did not know that.
Very.
Anyone else have anything?
whole war on drugs. Richard Nixon was
That war on drugs and then putting crack in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. It was real cute. Like, like we weren't going to know. Like,
yeah,
where were all these people getting full like grade A cocaine? Nobody can afford. Like, obviously, it's coming from the. But anyway, it's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. But anyone else have anything to say about the debate? Like anything they saw that stuck out to them?
Definitely what Samira said. So like that like who knows their stuff and who doesn't. Right from the beginning, you see Donald Trump just jumping into these subjects and just like winging it. Like he doesn't even have a plan. He just like talk.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he do. He's messy.
Exactly.
You have Joe Biden when he begins talking, like right from the beginning, he says thank you to the university, to the moderator, which is what you're supposed to do. Like you go back to like the Obama debates, you see Obama and the Republican Party candidate saying thank you for allowing us to be here in this moment.
Like
That's how
basically they're
are.
being what is it? I don't know what the word is. They're one, following the rules, but two, they're also being like respectful and
So it's
being
very
mindful.
respectful.
Yeah,
They're not cutting each other off. It's just like a conversation. Like it rolls out. Like it's just rolling out.
like an actual
Right.
debate.
And you could sense that Donald Trump just went in there just to wing it. Just
Mm-hmm.
have a plan. He doesn't talk to the American people. And you
He
see,
doesn't have a plan at all
yeah, and
for anything.
Joe Biden is trying to be more, following those rules of what a debate is supposed to look like, but he can't follow it because Donald Trump is like
Yeah.
interrupting him all the time.
Yeah, and
And can I
apparently
add
that's
to
a.
that?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
And it's funny, like you said something I was about to go into. I feel like a lot of people who are biased and who are pro-Trump, they try to, everybody saw the debate, everybody had conversations about it the next day. I see how they tried to like work Biden into it when Biden was actually doing what he was supposed to do. And it just kind of goes to show how people, so for this man, that they will try to, drag other people under the bus with him, like they made it, it was both of them. No, like, like at some point, if it was any of us, at some point you're gonna get frustrated. I mean, it's a debate, yeah, but it's just like, I feel like at this point, they have to cut the mics off. Once your 2 minutes is up, your mic is cut off and on to the next person. But I just didn't think it was fair that people, kind of like discredited Biden because of how Trump was behaving. It was not a two-party, situation. Like there was clearly one person who was, being childish in the whole thing. So that was just one thing I didn't agree with. I just thought it was very, I didn't expect anything less than that. Like I expect people to say stuff like that afterwards, just to not take the weight off of him. But whatever.
Yeah, apparently it's a debate tactic to actually do that. Obviously it's not used that often because it's like improper, but it's basically like spewing so much information that the other person just doesn't get a chance to even really correct anything that's wrong because a lot of what he's saying was incorrect information. So yeah, Leif?
Yeah, I was gonna add on to that. I don't understand why everyone was like really surprised of like how Trump was acting, because like that was always his way of coming at debates, is just to attack his opponent and to really like demoralize them and like to just break their character and just to like really break them and not give them a chance to speak back. Like even back in 2016, that was always his tactics with Hillary Clinton, just to attack her and to not give her a chance to even think or just throw her off her game. And the same is happening now with Biden.
Okay. I don't know about y'all, but I was real confused about how to vote, especially because it was my first time voting. So I just like immediately like looked for websites on how to teach me. Like, are any of y'all confused about voting, especially this year with mail-in ballots, absentee ballots, and all that?
Yeah, damn, I'm 22 now. All right. When I was able to register to vote, I know my mom was like on me heavy. Like she was like the one, like, making sure I was on top of that stuff. But the process for me was like kind of simple. Like it didn't like, I don't know if it's like I had like, I guess her like so down my throat that I was like forced to just know it or how to do everything. But so how, like, can I ask you a question? Like, how many people are actually going to the polls to vote, and is anybody actually going to like mail their ballot in?
I'm going to the poll.
Yeah.
I'm going to the poll.
Yes.
I just don't trust the mail-in ballot.
Yeah, I don't either. Something's about that real fishy.
Not in the way Trump don't trust it, but I don't trust Trump with these mail-in ballots.
I don't trust none of them.
Like the way they were like, yeah, if they come after November 3rd, sorry, sis. I was like, huh? Do you know how many mail-ins? So many people, like over half. I was like,
yeah, it's too much.
let me not like. There's way too many people like voting by mail this year. So it's just like y'all need to push the thing back, and they can't count everything until like election day.
Yeah.
So it could take weeks for them to count all of the ballots.
Right.
So we might not even know election night.
That whole mail-in ballot thing to me is scandalous. It's too many corrupt happenings going on. I just don't. I will take my tail to the polls, press that button, whatever I need to do. But I don't know. It's like
Anyone else voting by is anyone voting by mail? Anyone?
some people have to because, like, you know, if you can't get around, be like handicap or something, you can't get around to the polls or whatever. But that's understandable. But I feel like if you can, I feel like you should go to the polls. But everybody's different. I'm not, you know,
Yeah,
there's no right or wrong way.
Yeah, some neighborhoods just like polling places are closing down and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar was actually telling me like to talk about voter suppression, and since it's just us, I can what was I about to say? Oh, I can get like things off y'all for like what y'all know about voter suppression. Like I think the first time I heard about voter suppression was when this year people's like polling places were closing down or like machines weren't working, and it was like in predominantly like Black and Hispanic areas. So like that was the first time like I had ever known about voter suppression. Like, is there anything you guys have heard like throughout history about how they used to like suppress voters?
I'm gonna add something from just the overall conversation. So the first thing I'm gonna say is that I'm not like I don't look at it like Biden, Trump. I look at it just like the role of president. You know, like so people don't know all the facts. I feel like a lot of people they just want to say, oh, Trump's doing a bad job or Obama did a bad job or all this stuff. What they have to realize is that you're not in that position. You know, someone can say you did a bad job, but are you in Trump's shoes? Are you in that position? You have to understand he has to take care of the American people. He has to take care of world issues. You have to look at that stuff. People are like, he's a bad president because of this thing happened, this thing. You're not in that position. You can't make that call. Another thing is that when like this is coming from personal situations, someone could say, oh, like having a full-time job, being a college student, it's hard, and like I was in that position, blah blah. But you're not in my shoes right now. You don't know how that acts, and that's like being a hypocrite where you're saying something but you don't know all the facts, and you're not in that position. So that's my 2 cents for like just this position. It's not for Trump, it's not for Biden, it's just the position in general. The second thing I would say is that I want to apologize the other day because there's another event happening in the library and that got 60 people and that was my event. So I apologize for not bringing people over here. So it's a fake news event, just in case everyone.
That actually would have been great. Actually, yeah. The fake news.
Just to let you guys know. So they're doing a fake news event. So kind of bringing that into this conversation is just like. I see everyone sees these advertisements where it's like Trump's a balloon, they call him full of hot air. I don't know if you guys seen that one.
On Hulu, yeah, they showed it.
Why are commercials and stuff like that? Why can't it just be vote for me because I'm going to do this, this, and this? Now it's like, don't vote for this guy because he did this. That's not the way it should be. It should be like, vote for me because I'm going to do this, this, and this. And people just lie a lot now in the commercials. They're like, I'm gonna do this, but you don't have all the facts. Just say, I hope to do this, or I hope I can do this. They're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and then they get elected, and then they barely do anything, and that's why people get mad. So I feel like that's kind of how people feel when they vote. They just go off of like personal observations and opinions, and they don't go off like the facts, or they don't know the facts.
Okay, Leif, you were raising your hand a lot. You got something to say?
Oh, I had something to say too.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Mute yourself.
My bad.
Yeah, I think I don't agree with sympathizing with him because of the position that he's in. I think is with or justifying what he's doing because of the position that he's in. He knows what he's doing. He knows that he put separated children from their families. He knows that he did that, and he just knows. And I'm not justifying because he's in that position. He don't know what he's doing. No, he got a whole team behind him. and the team is telling him what to do. It's not just Trump. It's his whole team. It's his whole White House. He picks his team. And if somebody disagrees with him, what does he do? He fires them. So I don't think it's good to justify his actions, because no, it's not because he's feeling the pressure, because he's not. It's just him. He's doing all that bad stuff. So yeah.
Anyone else have anything to say? Rafe? You're muted. Are you? No, I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
All right, so yeah, I understand what Harsh was trying to say, I guess, that the president is in a tough spot, but at the end of the day, he is the president of one of the largest economies in the world and the leader of the free world, and at the end, one of the only standing democracies. And at the end of the day, his decision affects the lives of 300 million Americans. So yeah, it's a tough spot, but no one put a gun to his head and told him to run for president. He willingly became president, and he knew what he got himself into. One, two, you shouldn't really sympathize for someone who's a world leader, because that's what he set out to do. And two, like, he knows what decisions he's making. They have rippling effects. Yeah, they're big decisions, but it comes with the role of being the president of the United States of America. It's not like he's the president of a small island in the Pacific Ocean. You feel me? Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
I just think that, personally, I know like making politics personal is, that's something that a lot of people have been doing, being politically correct and everything. And that's like getting under some people's skin. But, it is personal. Like, this affects all of us. And I don't think our generation has felt it more than now, because our generation, now we're the ones voting. We're the ones that are being the most affected from all of this. So I just feel like people are fed up. Like, it's not even like he tried to grow from his starting point in 2016. He hasn't shown any growth at all. Like, it just seems like we're in the same place we were in 4 years ago. And he's being the same, make America great again, build the wall, doing all that. Like, that's what all the propaganda that got him elected, but that didn't do anything for anyone. Like, we wasted money on the wall, taxpayer dollars on the wall that doesn't do anything. Apparently they can still climb over it. And it's just, what was all of this for, if not to like make a change and actually do something good for everyone, not just white people, and specifically rich white people, because he doesn't even care about the poor white people, which they soon figured out after he was elected. Two people raised their hands, but I can't see who. I think it was Samira.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, to add on to what you said, we got to remember, it's like we're the ones who are paying the price for, his decisions at the end of the day. Like, people have lost their lives. People who don't have health care have spent, months in the hospital, when that didn't, that could have been prevented, so I mean, those are the kind of things that we have to take into account. It's not necessarily just about politics, but we have to remember, like, we as a people are actually suffering, from the consequences of, people's actions. So that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day also. So it's got to keep an open mind about, the different aspects of what, what's going on here. It's not always about, how we feel personally, but it's just like, what affects one person is more than likely is affecting tons of other people. So
just him saying things like "Make America Great Again" and saying like kind of snide remarks about people of color, like Mexicans, not all Muslims, but like Muslims and people's religions and other things like that. That had a rippling effect throughout this whole country. I know before he became president, there was stuff going on, but I had never seen like anything like after he got elected and right before he got elected. I think it was Charlottesville with the tiki torches. I think that was the one that really like hit me at first. It was neo-Nazis out there saying they support Trump, they do this, and what does he say? He can't even reprimand white supremacy, which is like the easiest question. Like all you had to do was say, I don't think whatever the question was, white supremacy, but he couldn't even do that. And I just feel like that just shows who he is as a person. He does not care about anyone but himself. And that's not really what we need as a president. So I feel like that's why people are making it personal for them, because it's personally not only affecting them, but like that hurts. When people aren't acknowledging who you are as a person, your pain, your struggles, and he's just generalizing everyone as basically just general like white people. And it seems like he's only for white people or, you know, his supporters. It's just not, that can't be how a country is run, because then it's just one minority being taken care of and the rest of us would just feel like underdogs. Did you raise your hand again, Sora? Oh, damn, it just still says that. Okay.
It's old.
I'm dead.
It's just going back to the what are we voting for? I look at it this way. This is what I try to tell the people around me who are like undecisive of who to vote for, because they're like, Joe Biden is no better. I'd be like, okay, so you gotta think about it this way: who is a better candidate for the humanity, like just in the humanity like standpoint? Who is Donald Trump doing a better thing for the minorities than Joe Biden? So we gotta vote for what candidate is thinking of humans, everyone as equal, not just like, I'm gonna be supporting the white people, but like the Latinos, they're immigrants, they're criminals, they're trying to break up our country, and so that's why I'm gonna take away their children. No, it shouldn't be like that. And this is all happening under this administration, and that's why I see it as like Donald Trump is not the human president to choose in this new election. So yeah, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, like definitely. Leif said in the chat, the lesser of two evils is still evil. I like completely get that. It's kind of unfortunate, the predicament we're in. It's kind of a consequence of, you know, what this country has been doing since the beginning of time. They only respect one type of person. So when anyone else tries to come into office, it's like, y'all saw what happened when Obama was elected president. I know most of us were, well, I was 8, so I didn't peep anything until the second time around, but putting like posters of him and like with a noose around his neck and all this other stuff, the way that people try to disrespect the whole family, like that's a consequence of what this country is based on. It's not necessarily our fault that this is how people think, but it's our responsibility to try to change the way people are thinking right now. So yeah. Anissa's here. I've been wanting to say that for a while. Hi, Anissa.
Hey, listen, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
It's funny to me how, it's not funny, it's actually sad. People, once Obama was out of office, people like practically begged Biden to run for president. And it seems like now that that's happening, moral of the story is you can't please everybody. Now, I know the situation would be different, you know, people's, you know, opinions would be different had it been Biden, you know, versus another Black president. So understand that, you know, like I said, you can't please everybody, but people's ideas and opinions would more than likely be different if it was Biden against, you know, running up against another Black president or, you know, potential president. So when you think about it, you kind of play into, you know, the whole thing about skin color. Yeah, white people are upset, you know, about, you know, because, you know, Joe Biden is for, you know, minority groups. But if he was going, like I said, if he was going up against a Black president, I feel like people more than likely would be kind of like the opposite of that. Like they would probably be voting for Joe Biden just because, you know, it's a Black president, you know? So we just kind of, I just want to like everybody like kind of like think about that a little bit, if you get what I'm saying.
I think I kind of get it. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I think after Obama, people had this thing in their minds like this ain't happening. Like that made a lot of people upset. People who probably didn't even know they had these, unresolved biases of what a Black person is. They were over here trying to say he wasn't even born here and all this other stuff. And it's just like, you wouldn't say this about a white person. Like no one ever would say this about Trump and his family and what's going on with him. But they're so quick to throw people who are just like a little brown under the bus just to push their own agenda. And that's something that Trump has also done. So I just don't really respect, and I think it's hard for other people to respect someone who is not taking the presidency seriously. I just think that's what it is. So, but we talked about a lot, and we kind of went through all my questions accidentally. So now, I mean, what else can I say? This has been a year. Leif, are you raising your hand or yawning? Oh, go ahead. No, I can't hear you. No.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I was trying to add on earlier to what you and Samara were saying about not being apolitical and this being our generation, and we have to like really voice ourselves. And I was gonna speak on the importance of that because politics is not supposed to. It's supposed to be emotional, but you're supposed to have an opinion because it's your life. Everything that you do in politics affects your life, and everything the politicians do affects the country. And like for example, with the whole corona, 200,000 Americans have died so far from COVID-19, and comparing that to like 9/11 with 3,000 Americans dying, and like the outrage from 9/11 compared to like COVID-19 deaths is like, you feel me?
Yeah.
It's like Trump really hasn't like really done anything to address that or like anything to like really change the course of action for the country.
Definitely. The correlation is very strange. I still don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how people are still not taking. Well, no, I do understand actually, because if you're elected officials, your elected officials aren't taking it seriously, then how are you supposed to take it seriously? If they're telling you not to wear your mask, oh, Joe's wearing this big mask and da 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 da, and then you get COVID. Like, what is that? That's tomfoolery. That's peak comedy, unfortunately. But it's things like that that just make his whole presidency just kind of seem like one big joke. It just doesn't even seem real that this is even happening. I don't know if that's how it feels for y'all, but I know that's how it feels for me. So, but y'all really went through all my questions. It was Samira for sure, because she was like, "Let me just say this," and she answered my question. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how y'all are feeling about this. I don't really care who y'all are voting for. Y'all vote for who y'all vote for. No judgment. A little bit of judgment, but no judgment. But but at least if you want to see a change, I definitely recommend that you go out and vote. If you need to get your mail-in ballots because you don't want to catch no COVID, do what you got to do. Make sure you know where your polling places are. You can do that on the PA. I think it was like pavote.org. You just like the registration is really easy. Most of y'all are older than me, so I'm pretty sure most of y'all are registered. Make sure like your status says that. She said don't mail in your ballot. I mean, I'm not gonna say it. She's an adult, so she can do what she wants. But I'm not gonna say that. If you don't feel comfortable doing going to the polling places, it's no judgment, but you really got to get it in now. He is trying. Well, I'm not gonna say he is, but the Republicans have a history of trying to suppress people's votes. Especially Democrats' votes. So when we don't show up to vote, they get what they want because Republicans are going to show up and show out. They don't care about no Rona, no nothing. Like there was an actual like polling taking place, and Trump's voters are going to go out and vote. Like they're not mailing in their ballots. So goes both ways. What that mean?
Like, if you don't vote, the other party wins, like for both parties. You feel
Yeah.
me? It's not just like, oh, the Republicans, this. It's
I'm just
also
saying that
Democrats.
because like when I was like watching videos and stuff like that, there is like a history of Republicans saying we don't want them to vote because da 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 da. Like they don't want to hear us. They don't want to hear us out. They don't want our people to be or who we want to be elected because then that would take away from their agenda. I'm sure Democrats probably think the same way, but the Democratic Party is such a mess. Like they never get their stuff together. So I don't know, but that's just what I've seen on the Republican side. Oscar?
Yeah, it's just to add on to that. Um, People in history have lost their lives in order to like vote. So, think about that when I know we're recording this and we're gonna put this up like in our YouTube or whatever. So to those who are like, "Ah, I don't feel like voting. I don't know if I should vote for either of these candidates." People have been fighting to vote in this country for it throughout history. They lost their lives. A lot of people have lost their lives. So like think about that next time you say, I don't feel like voting, but like our ancestors have been fighting for us to get this right. So we should use it. Now we have it. We should use it because it's important. They lost their lives because it was important. They believed in it. So we should be using that right. And also, yeah, and even in other countries, people are still being suppressed for their votes because they're not considered equal to the people in the hierarchy at the top. So, yeah, voting is important. So please get out there and use your voice because that's the best way to use it.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys have any friends that have been saying, I'm not going to vote because it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people who say that, and they said that in 2016. And though it did seem like it didn't matter, it kind of did matter. If he didn't get all of them electoral votes, Hillary barely would have won. Like she was barely winning by the majority vote. If more people would just show up and show out, maybe we could actually make some noise and show that like we mean business and that we can hopefully change the way that the voting process is. Because the electoral college, I've been learning that I've been learning that the electoral college is dumb since like 7th grade. So I don't know why it's still a thing, but I feel like if we just, make our voices heard, maybe something will change, anything. So yeah, it's just been a good convo. I don't want to end early, but Anissa, is it okay?
Fine. You're fine. This is O'Day staff
Yeah,
conversation.
this was really a conversation. I don't know what happened. There was a couple people in here, but they dipped out so fast. So I was just like, wow. Like I tried to start a conversation, they wouldn't even talk to me. I was like I felt that in my spirit, but it's okay.
We
Let me
hear
stop
it.
recording.
It was a good conversation. Good job, Deborah.